Hey everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, Relax.Cut.Glue. If you're new here, welcome. I am so happy to have y'all here with me today. So today we're going to make a little folio glue book. You could use this as a junk journal, a glue book, a smash book, whatever you want to make it. And you can do this with any kind of paper, any kind of style. Make it dogs and cats, make it birds, make it Halloween, make it Christmas, make it whatever. So I'm going to be using this paper pad I got from Michael's, I think last year or maybe the year before even. So I'm going to be using this, which is way out of my comfort zone because this is not a Nicole color palette, which is kind of fun. I'm excited about it. And then I have some paper, I have some cardstock. So without further ado, let's get this party started. So I have a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I want to cut this to 7 inches tall. Keep the 11, but let's cut some of the length off. So I'm gonna cut it to 7. I'm gonna make my book 5 by 7. So by cutting this to 7, save this piece, because we might be able to use it for something else, maybe a pocket or something like that. So now my piece is 11 by 7. Instead of keeping it at 11 inches, cut it to 10.5 inches. You'll have 7 by 10.5. Next up, I grabbed my scoreboard, and I have a little scoring tool. You can use this tool that comes with it as well, or a bone folder. And I am just going to score this at 5 inches. So this is your 11-inch side, this is your 7-inch side. So make sure you're on 11 inches. Score at 5. Okay, so we already scored this at 5. Now we flip it around. Score it at 5 again. So now you have 5 inches, 5 inches, and a 1/2 inch spine. All right. That was easy, wasn't it? So easy. Okay, so now that we have the cover, you can fold your pieces. Where's my bone folder? So this is Dollar Tree cardstock, so I can't remember if it cracks or not. We'll see. Ooh, I need to change my blade. Okay, so now we folded it on that line. Now let's fold it on the other score line. If you do not have a scoreboard like I just used, you can still do this. I'll show you how. Just one second. Let me flatten all this out because it's driving me nuts. I'm probably going to ink this anyway, so it's not going to bother me. If you don't have a scoreboard, grab a cutting mat and your paper. And let's say I wanted to score this at 2 inches. So let me put this on here like this, or 1 inch. We'll just do 1 inch so I'm not wasting. Put your ruler right here, grab a little score tool or your bone folder and give it a little like that. And now you have a score mark that you can easily fold. So you don't have to have a scoreboard, but I recommend it. They're relatively cheap and they are very helpful. Okay, so now we have our cover, which is 5 by 7 with a 1/2 inch spine. And I want to add something to the cover of mine. So let's go through the paper. By adding a little, like a square on here, will also make your cover more sturdy. So let's pick, there was a page in here. So everything in here is like purple, green, and black. That's why I went with the color palette that I went with. But there was a certain paper in here. Let me see. No, I think it must be towards, oh, maybe that was it. Is it this one? Because it has the purple, the green, and the black. Ooh, this one. Okay. This one has gold in it. Now keep in mind, I've had this paper pad, so I have used paper out of it already, so I might not have all of the pieces. Okay, because I made a glue folio out of this once. All right, so now, since my cover is 5 by 7, I'm going to cut my paper a little bit smaller than that because I want my green border to show. Let's cut this to, how about 4 3/4? That'll give me a 1/4 inch there. So let's go 4 3/4. Yes. Okay. And then because it's 7, I'll go 6 3/4. So we'll just make it a 1/4 inch smaller all the way around. 6 3/4. All right, so this should fit on here perfectly, and it does. Okay, so let's do the same. I'm going to save this. I'm going to be able to use it. So let's cut this again to 4 3/4. Actually, let's cut the top first because that'll leave me with more paper. What was it? 6 3/4? Okay. That just gives me a bigger piece up here is all. And then 4 3/4. All right, so just a recap. Our cover is 5 by 7. So we made our border panel or our cover panels to 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. All right, so I am actually going to take my black archival ink and I'm going to go around the edges of this because you will be able to see the white right here, and that's just not a good look. So I'm just going to go around, scrape my little tool here across the edges to get rid of the white. And little touches like this make a big difference in the overall look of your book when it's all done. Do you have to do this? Absolutely not. Not at all. But personally, I think it looks better because you don't see that little white edge. But that's just a me thing. It doesn't have to be a you thing, okay? You're not wrong. I'm not wrong. We just create differently, and that's actually a good thing. Okay, so now I want to glue these on, and I'm just going to leave my panel open like this because it makes it so much easier to, you know, glue these in. So you can use wet glue, you can use glue stick, you can use double-sided tape, whatever you want to use. I will say, however, the double-sided tape is a little bit harder to make sure you get it even on here. So I'm just going to go with my glue stick. That's what I'm going to go with. I was just thinking, do I want to ink? Now I'll put my panels on first and then I'll ink this. Now I'm using a permanent glue stick, so that does help. And the cardstock that I'm using is a little bit textured. So using a stronger adhesive helps. But you could use art glitter glue or anything like that. I just find when I use wet glue on things like this that it leaves like a little, you can see the wet glue marks, and I don't like that at all. So, okay, so we have the front. Now let's do the back. Oh man, I liked the side better. Oh well. Okay, let's add that. I need a new glue stick. I just had to throw away a brand new glue stick. And before you judge me, I mean, you can judge me all you want, I guess. I don't know, whatever. There was something wrong with the formula, and that's only happened to me a couple times where it's like it won't actually glide and it's like super goopy and sticky, and yeah, no thank you. Gave it a toss-a-rooney. Okay, and like I said, that's only happened to me a few times ever. Okay, so I do have this 1/2 inch right here. And I have this piece that is exactly the same height, so let's chop that up. Now I want to cut it a little less than 1/2 inch because I want it to fit inside of the lines. You'll understand here. So I'm cutting it just a smidge, just like a hair smaller than 1/2 inch. Oh my gosh, that looks so tiny, doesn't it? Because I don't want it, and I might even, oh no, I got it. So what you don't want is for your paper to go over your bending edge right here. So because we scored it, you can see your score lines. So you want to put this right in between those, because otherwise if you put it over the bendy part, you will not be able to open and close your book well. Okay, so let's just ink this a little bit. If I was smart, I would have cut these so that they all kind of looked like they went together, but it's going to be a closed book anyway, so you won't be able to see that effect anyway, but just something to think about. Okay, let's add it. Man, you could mass make these so fast for your friends. They'd be great to send in Happy Mail. Or you can make them for gifts for Christmas. You can put family photos in them. Use it as a photo album, scrapbook. All right, give that a little press. I'm also going to press with my bone folder. There we go. Okay. Ah, yes. Okay, so we can still open and close nicely. We didn't go over the lines. Ah, look how pretty that looks. So profesh. Okay. So next up on the inside here, I still need to, you know what? I need to ink this now. I have a feeling I'm going to forget. So I'm going to ink around all the edges of my green cover here, including the spine pieces, and then I'll come right back and we can do the inside parts, because that's where the fun begins. All right, now I've inked all my edges, and look at this nice, like, smoky look that it gives it. I absolutely love that. It looks so good, and we'll decorate the cover a little bit more too. Okay, next up I'm going to take some 8.5 by 11 cardstock from Michaels. And I'm going to cut this down to, how do I want to do this? Let's cut this to 5 inches. You can save this for other projects. And then turn it back around, and we're going to cut it to 4 3/4. So now you'll have a piece that is 5 by 4 3/4. And repeat. So now you'll have 2 that are 5 3/4. And we are going to do this one more time. So let's cut it to 5. I always keep my scrap cardstock. Always keep it. You can use it for so many different things. I can make these artist trading card bases. I can add more things to this book when I'm done, like pockets and stuff if I wanted. So definitely you can still get use out of it. Okay, I'm going to start with 4 of these and see how far I get. It is possible I might need one more. All right, we're breaking out the scoreboard again. So make sure, so now I'm on the 4 3/4 side. I don't want that. Turn it around. Definitely make sure that this is your 5-inch side, okay? 5 inches. So you are going to want to score this at 4.5. Like that, and repeat on the other one. So make sure, take a second and stop. This is the wrong side. I need to turn it around. Make sure it's on the 5. Score it at 4.5. And again, you can do this without a scoreboard if you would like. 4.5. And last one, 4.5. All right. So easy. And remember, you can do this without the scoreboard. I already showed you how to do that. Okay. Now I'm going to fold that 1/2 inch piece over. And you really want to make sure that you press this down. Start in the middle and move out. That way your fold is even. I start folding in the middle and go out. I start in the middle and go out. That way you aren't bending your paper. And sometimes, even though you score it, it will still be wonky if you fold it funky. Okay. There we go. Perfection. Okay, so what we're making now is a waterfall for the back. So this will go right here. Let's see how many we can get here approximately. I'm just roughing this real quick. I just want to see if I need to cut another piece. Ooh, I can. Okay, I'm going to cut one more, so that'll give me a total of 5 of these, okay? Okay, so make sure that you have this facing the right direction, and we are going to add our waterfall. If you have ever been intimidated by making a waterfall, please don't. It is so much easier than people think it is. So easy, okay? So where you made this little 1/2 inch fold, you're going to take some glue, and I'm using my art glitter glue. This glue is a permanent glue. It is fast drying. It has a very tiny, fine tip on it, so you don't use like too much glue. And it's phenomenal. Oh, I probably need to shake this a little bit. Hold on. Mama's got to shake. All right, I wiped a little bit of that off. Let's try this again. All right. So now I like to turn mine around just for this first one. You don't have to, but you want to make sure you have it even on either side of your edges. And I put mine right up to the top. right up to the top. But make sure you're not going over the top because you don't want to see it from there. You see what I'm saying? So see how close I have it? It is right up there, okay? So now it's even on both sides. I'm going to lift this up and just push this down with my bone folder and move on to the next one. So get your next piece that's folded over, add your glue. Now you're going to keep it folded and you're going to butt this piece. Let me put my glue right here so the light you can see a little bit better. You're going to butt this right up underneath the next one or the one right before it. Look on either side, make sure you're even. There we go. Okay. Give it a squish. Lift it up, squish it again. Move on to the next. It's that simple, you guys. It is so easy. When I first saw, like, I was so intimidated by a waterfall years ago, and I saw a video of somebody doing one, and I'm like, oh, that's it? That's how you do it? That's so easy. All right, so take this one, butt it right up against the bottom there. Don't want to go on that piece, just butt it right up against it. Make sure you're even on either side. Okay, give it a press. Lift it up, press it again. And listen, if your waterfall is off just a little bit, who cares? Once you start decorating and stuff, I mean, I know we all care. I'm not dismissing that. I know, myself included. But what I've noticed when I stick with it and keep like decorating it and then glue and stuff inside, you don't notice at all. I mean, we notice a little bit, but like nobody else really will. You know what I mean? All right. Okay, and last one. Ooh, so exciting. Now with these waterfalls, you can glue right on them. You can add a panel to them, which I think I'm going to do because I usually do that. I add a panel. Let's see. Let's get this over just a little bit. Oops, too far, too far. Abort mission, abort mission. All right, there we go. And you can also put, like, I could just take another square or whatever and, you know, fill this piece up so that I could glue here too. And I might do that, I don't know. But there is our waterfall. Look how lined up and perfect it is just by taking a couple extra seconds to make sure it's lined up in the beginning. So now you can glue on this, you can glue on the back, you can add photos. You could add little strips of paper right here like we did for the spine. So maybe I'll do that with, you know, one of these. Oh yeah, it's already the right size. Let's do it. Why not? So I'll need 5, right? Let's go for it. Just adds a little something, something, you know? So let's cut this. Well, do I want to use this or should I use like a solid color? Or maybe a different print? Because this is so pretty. I could use this for something else. Let's pick a different print. So my little strips were 1/2 inch, so I want to go just a smidge lower than 1/2 inch. So here's my 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to cut it just a tiny bit less. There's one strip. Okay, so I need to make 3 strips. I had my fan on, I'm so sorry. So now we want to cut these to 4 3/4. So let's do that. 4 3/4. There's 1 and 2. Okay. Let's, oops, put those back. Let's see how these fit in here. Let's just grab one real quick. Oh yeah, baby. They're perfect. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. Okay, I do want to ink these. I know it just, but it just that little extra effort because this is black paper, this is black paper. You're going to see the white line. I don't want to see the white line. I just don't want to see it. So I'm going to cover it. Toodaloo, white line. All right, I'm all done inking, so let's add the glue. and glue these down. Again, making sure I'm not going over the spine because then it won't open and close all pretty. Okay. Yep, we're good. All right. Next. I want to pick the ones that have the best stars on it. We need all the bling. Bling it out, baby. Bling it out. Okay. All right, there we go. Perfect. Let's give it a little press. Get that little glue glob off of there. Oh, making these is so fun. You could definitely make multiple of these in one day, especially once you get done with the first one, because then it'll all move like so much faster because you know what you're doing, you know? Okay. I might put on a movie and make a few of these. I grabbed another paper pad out that's vintage, so I might do that. Okay, do I want to just glue this like that for the bottom piece? I do. So I need to cut this to, okay, so I ended up cutting this to 4 3/4, but yours may vary depending on how you glued yours down and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, 4 3/4 tall by 4 3/4. I know some of you are wondering, you're like, Nicole, why are you using a glue stick for that when you used your art glitter glue for the other parts? And that is a valid question. And my answer to that is, with my glue stick, and I'm doing a full panel like this, I feel like my glue stick gets a more accurate, measure of glue all over the place. So if I use wet glue, it doesn't always like get all the places that I need it to be. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so there it is, just like that. And now you can add little panels on here. So if you wanted like a smaller panel, and then you can glue things on here, you can add pictures on here, or you can glue directly on here, whatever you want to do. Okay, that looks great. Now we want to move on to the signature. I have 3 pieces of purple copy paper here, and I'm going to cut them down. Now this book is 5 by 7, so I want my papers to be a little bit smaller than 5 inches. So I'm going to make them 4 3/4 by 7. Okay, so let's do the long way first, because that way we save ourselves some time. We want this to be 7. If you don't want your paper to go all the way to the edge, then you can cut them a little bit less than 7. Let's see. I usually do cut mine just a smidge less. Okay. There we go. Just a hair less than 7. That way it's not poking out the top if I make a little mistake. Okay, and then we want to cut this to 4 3/4 plus 4 3/4 is 9 1/2. So let's cut this to 9 1/2. All right, so just a recap, a little shy of 7 inches in the height and 9 1/2 inches in width. Let's repeat. So just a smidge less than 7. And then 9 1/2. You can use more than 3 pieces of paper. I'm just using 3. 3 pieces of paper gives me 12 gluing surfaces, which is more than enough for me for a small book like this. You know what I mean? But you can add more. You can absolutely add more. You can do whatever you want. And 9 1/2. All right. Okay, now we just fold these in half. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I always score mine to give it a nice crisp edge. That way they line up better together when you're folding them and making a signature. Okay. You could also add a piece of your decorative cardstock for this if you wanted like to make for the outside piece, but I don't think so. All right. So now we have the 3 pieces of paper and they should fit in here. Lovely. Perfect. I love it. Okay, now you can do one of 2 things here. Well, you can do lots of different things. I'm going to 3-hole pamphlet stitch this in, but if you want a no-sew method, all you have to do is take a piece of string and make sure it is the height of your book times 2 plus a little extra, and you will tie the string around this, right, around your spine, and then tie a little knot at the top and maybe a bow or something, and then you take your papers and slide them under that string, and these will be a no-sew method. You could take this out, put them back in, they won't fall out. Very easy. I think that I am going to sew mine in. So let me grab my stuff. So I need a needle, and I'm going to show you how to 3-hole pamphlet stitch. It is, oops, way easier than you think it is. I promise you, okay? You can do this. I believe in you. I need my awl. I need my large paper clips. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need some embroidery floss. Is this purple? Oh my gosh, this purple matches. Let's see if I have enough. I know I do. All right. Oh, and I have black. Do I want to use black? Or should I go with purple because it matches? Ooh, decisions. I mean, the purple matches like perfectly, but black would blend in a little bit more. On the outside, I think. Like right here. Something's telling me to go with black. I'm going to go with black. Okay. So basically you want to make sure that you have enough string. So you take your height and times it 3 times. So there was 1, 2, 3. I have more than enough. I'm just going to use this whole piece because what's the point in cutting it? I'll just use it. All right, now we're going to thread our needle. Can I get it first try? No. Oh, man. Rude. Okay, it took me 4 times. Don't judge me. All right, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to hold these papers together by using some paper clips. You can use binder clips. You can use whatever makes you happy. You can use whatever you want. All right, and then I'm going to take my ruler and a pencil, and I am going to look for the middle of this, basically. I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly the middle, but, you know, whatever. Yeah, okay. You can draw a middle line if you want. I'm just eyeballing it. Oops, I moved it. Darn it. Okay, and then I'm going to make 3 holes. So it's 7 inches. The holes don't really matter where you put them. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's just 3 holes. But if you want them to be even, so the middle of 7 would be 3.5, right? So I'm just going to put a little pencil mark right at 3.5. And then I'm going to go 1 inch from the top and 1 inch from the bottom. Bada bing, bada boom. So I have 3 holes just like that. It's hard for you to see, but I can see them. It's right here, and right here. Okay, I'm going to take my papers and I am going to put a T right here for top really lightly so I can erase it. But I want to make sure that I know which side is which, because if you flip this over, it's not going to glue in the same. Okay, so now I'm just going to make a little notch mark where my line, where my lines are. You want to make sure you're, okay, so I'll put a little, I mean, you can use your ruler and do the same thing on this paper, but it's honestly so much easier to just do it like this. It's also quicker. Okay. So now I'm going to take that piece that was on the outside. I'm going to fold it in, put it in the middle so that I can see where my lines are, or this is where I need to make my holes. So I'm just going to make them a little bit bigger so it's easier for me to see. Okay. Put these back on. And now I'm going to make my holes. So I'm just going to punch a hole right in the middle there with my awl. Okay. Just want to double check that these still match up. All right, let's cut these now, or put a hole in these. First dot right here. Second dot right here. And third dot right there. Now, one of the reasons why we added that little strip right here was not only for decoration, but also because it just adds more stability to your spine. So I'm going to go in the middle. I say this every time. I'm going to say it again. There's no wrong way to do this. There are several different ways to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. You can start in any hole. You can start from the inside, or you can come in from the outside. Because I'm starting on the inside here, my end string is going to end up out or inside as well. So if you want to tie your string on the outside, you want to start on the outside. I'm going to tie my string on the inside, so I'm starting on the inside. Put it in the middle. Leave a tail of string. I have a lot of extra string, so I'm just going to leave that. Then you're going to go in through the bottom. And let's put that in there. Come out through the top. Or the bottom. Okay, now you're going to go all the way to the top and go in through the top and out through the top. See how easy that was? So we started in the middle, we went through the middle, went down to the bottom, came out the bottom, went up to the top, went in the top, out the top. Now we're going to take this string and we're just going to kind of pull it this way a little bit because we need to go back in this hole and we want to make sure, oh wow, I just stuck that right through. We want to make sure that it doesn't go through this string. Okay, so now we want to make sure that we have one string on this side of the middle. So see, here's the middle. You want one on this side and one on this side. I'm going to go ahead and take my needle off of this. So what you're going to do is just kind of lightly, yet firmly, give it a little tug. Because you want to make sure that your string right here is tight and not loosey-goosey. Mine's a little loose, but it would be okay if I just stopped now. But I'm just going to pull it a little tighter. Okay, now I'm just going to tie a knot. And you can leave little strings hanging down if you want and add little charms, or you could tie this in a bow. You can do whatever you want. You know, maybe I'll tie this in a little bow. I don't know. I normally don't, but let's do it. There we go. We have a little bow. Now we just need to trim this. All right. Take these off now. All right. Now we have our signature. So you open it up and you have your papers that you can now glue on or do whatever you want to with. I normally just cut this off, but I'm going to leave it a bow for today. All right. So let's clean this up and we'll do the next step. Since I have this long piece of string, I'm going to show you what I meant about the no-sew method. So pretend this string isn't there, right? So all you'll do is take a string around your spine here. And, you know, I would put my knot towards the top. And then tie a knot, right? So you would have a knot or a bow up here. And now you can take your papers in and out because it's, you know, anyway, so you can do it that way. Just take a piece of string, wrap it around your entire book, around the spine and the middle of your papers, tie a knot, and then you can no-sew it. All right. So over here, what do we want to add? Do we want to add a panel? Do we want to add more waterfalls? You can add pockets. Maybe we should do some little pockets. That would be cute, wouldn't it? Okay, so I want to add this, and I'm going to make this a pocket, but I kind of want to slant this corner off because I think that'll look good. So let's just, like that maybe. I'm just taking a corner off of it. There we go. And then you can add stuff in here like that. Cute. I dig it. All right, let's use this. I'm just using whatever residual ink is still on my little dauber here to get rid of those white edges. Okay, so I'm now going to glue. I'm going to give myself a little bit of border around the edges. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to just glue this edge and this edge. Not this and not that. You can glue this. I don't, because I feel like it makes it easier to take things in and out, but you could absolutely do it. I just don't like it. So I'm going to do a thin piece of glue here and a piece of glue. What the heck, Nicole? A strip of glue, not a piece. All right. Let's just line this up how we want it. Ah, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Now I want to give this a press because you want your glue to actually adhere to the paper. So you need to press it down. Push it. Push it real good. Push it. Push it real good. Salt and pepper, anyone? Anyone? Okay. We have a pocket here to put things. This could be a bookmark. Could put that. And we have this one. So let's just put both of those in there. Except for that one's too tall. But you could make this a bookmark. You can journal here. You can put pictures here. You can glue book here. And then we have all of these panels that you can glue front and back. Glue something here. We have our back panel. So now let's look at the decorations that came with the paper pad and see if we want to decorate the front at all. So let's look at those real quick. Let's cut this down just a smidge so we can put it in here. How much do we need to cut? Oh, that should fit in there. What the heck? Okay, so just a little bit. I'll just cut like a 1/4 inch off the top. There we go. Fits in there. Move our scraps to the side. All right, let's check out the paper pad. Let's take one of these out. Okay. All right, what do we want to add? Ooh, life is better in a forest. That might be pretty. Ooh, and we could cut these tags out too and put them in here. That would be fun. Find the magic. Here's another tag. All right, so now we need to cut here. Set those aside. This. Okay, life is better in a forest. Let's see how we like it on here. Honestly, I kind of like the way this looks by itself, but you know what I mean? I don't know. I really like the cover the way it is, but I think Find the Magic. Ooh, Find the Magic might be good. Let's try that one. Okay, that actually looks really pretty. I know it does cover up the flowers and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. It just fits, right? Okay, so again, with whatever residual, I'm just going to go around my edge here. All right. Find the magic. Move it over. We want to make sure it's even Steven. Take a little bit of effort. Okay, you know what I'm going to do is open this up so that I can really push this down. And let me make sure that's pretty even. Oh, look how pretty that is. This isn't even my vibe, and that is so pretty. All right, everyone, we finished our little mini folio. It is so cute, so easy. You could make these for friends and family. You can add photos in here, glue book in here. This is great for like a smaller glue book for a holiday. Like this might be my Halloween one. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And then with the panels here, you can glue on these or add photos. These are now 4 3/4 by 4 1/2. So you could cut your paper just a 1/4 inch smaller than this panel and glue those on there as well. which is something I typically do. You can glue on the front of these, you could glue on the back of these, and then we added some decorative trim here, which just makes it a little bit prettier when you're flipping the pages. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but look at all this glue space. So we have 5 of these waterfalls, which means we have 10 gluing surfaces here. Plus you have whatever you want to glue here, plus 12 gluing surfaces with this, or writing, whatever you want to do. And then you have pockets and stuff here. You could even do another waterfall on this side, because let's face it, the waterfall is so easy, right? Way easier than you probably thought. You can totally do it. And the 3-hole pamphlet stitch is very easy. I know I kind of went about it in a different way today, but with 3 pieces of paper, just mark your holes, put it right, put a line down the middle if you want, then mark your 3 holes, match your paper up to it and put them in, or you can do it the no-sew way. Super easy. It looks pretty from the front, from the side, and the back. Now I want to go make 100 of these in all different themes, and I hope you do too. All right, everyone, that is going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. I hope you go and make 100 of these as well. They're so fun, so quick, so easy, and you can make a ton of them for all your friends and family. Don't forget to drink your water, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, friends.